Yo, what's up guys? It's me, Angry64 for another video. This is a viewer suggested video, similar to my Arms Warrior video actually, but I forgot to mention that one in that one. But yeah, one of my viewers asked me if I could make like a Protection Warrior guide, and I thought, yeah, this is really interesting. I love Protection Warriors as well. To be honest, I didn't play them in TBC Classic, but they looked always so fun, and they were also kind of rare. They were kind of an enigma. You never saw them in dungeons, when you did like a raid, then you saw them, but they were more rare than other specs, which is kind of funny to see compared to vanilla. And to be honest, I was always happy to see one, because that meant less sundering for me. Yeah, this is always a good thing. Especially in 10-man, like in Sulaman and such, I was always happy to have a Protection Warrior, because I didn't have to sunder that much. But yeah, I will talk about some gearing here. This is mostly a gearing guide, but I will also talk about some other stuff. You know, I love to like ramble about a lot of different topics, which are like not the main topic of the video. This video will be extremely long, because I actually have 3 sets, and I will talk about a lot of alternative gear. So yeah, kind of prepare for that. Maybe grab something to eat, drink, or whatever, or have it as your background noise if you want to. Because yeah, it's going to be a really long video. I can already say that. First of all, I kind of want to discuss, should you even use a Protection Warrior? Are they even viable? Like, because like you hear a lot of like, I don't know, streamers and whatever say, yeah, don't use a Protection Warrior, they're useless. Just use Feral Druids and Protection Paladins for like trash. That's it. I'm going to be like frank here and honest. I think that's pretty retarded. Why is that the case? Because you are going to have some gearing problems if you kind of do that. It kind of depends as well what kind of guild you have and such. But I think, to be honest, having a Protection Warrior is actually really valuable for a lot of different reasons. You would say, okay, they compete with the Protection Paladins, that's a bad thing. Not really. The thing is, Protection Paladins, for example, have really unique gear choices they need to make. They have, of course, different sets, and they would only really compete with Protection Warriors with their mitigation sets. So they're going to care about threat. It's a completely different specs they need to compete with. They actually compete with casters. And then you are kind of free as a Protection Warrior. So for example, let's say a tanking weapon drops. So you can look at one here. Let's say, man, it's two-handed. Why is it two-handed? Let's say King's Defender drops. Now you would maybe think, okay, you have a Protection Paladin and you have a Protection Warrior. You would say, oh, they compete against each other. Who should get the weapon or whatever? No, they don't. It's really simple. It's just for Protection Warriors. So let's say you don't have one. Yeah, then you are kind of cooked. Like, you would give it to your Fury Warrior if you have one. So that's already a problem. That's why I would say you should have a Protection Warrior maybe in your guild. I mean, it kind of depends. If you want to go full hardcore, you would probably not use one. But yeah, that's kind of the first problem here. The other thing is, like, from a general point of view, are they even good? Like, are they like, for example, maybe people are thinking about Wrath of the Lich King Protection Warriors, where it really never made sense to bring one in raids, because they were like pretty much really useless, especially compared to like the new tanks and such. Is it the same thing in TBC? Not really. Each tank has unique abilities and identities they have in TBC, which wasn't really the thing in Wrath of the Lich King, for example, because a lot of stuff got homogenized. But Protection Warriors are the best tank in the game when something goes wrong. It sounds kind of weird, but that's 100% true. What I mean by that is, they have the best defensive abilities in the game. No other class has something like Shield Wall, for example. So if something goes wrong and you have a Protection Warrior tanking, you will have a lot more things you can actually do than other classes. Let's say, for example, you play a Prot Paladin, you have no mana anymore, then you are kind of fucked. for a Feral Druid, if something happens and you get hit too hard, you're also kind of fucked. So, however, Protection Warriors have a lot of really nice abilities where they can actually be really useful right from the get-go. They're also really easy to gear, and also they're really sturdy, just like that. The only problem they have is they don't scale really well. That's the biggest issue they have, and also they aren't really good for AoE, same thing we had in Vanilla. So basically we got the Vanilla Warrior with some new neat upgrades into TBC. That's basically how it works, and we are going to use the shield. That's kind of how Protection Warriors are. This is the only time kind of where we can actually use a deep Protection Warrior with like the original shield block, which we also had in Vanilla, stuff like that, and it's a viable tank. In Vanilla, there was never really a reason to use a deep Protection Warrior. In TBC, however, you will 100% use them every time. You will never use Fury Prot, never. You can't, because bosses are going to destroy you. Like, they're going to fuck you up if you do that. So yeah, that's something I want to just also mention here. So 100% you are not griefing or something if you are going to play a Protection Warrior. They are useful, they are viable 100%. Don't listen to people who say they are not. They have like no idea what they're talking about. You can tank everything with a Protection Warrior. They are not the best tank, that is true. Like, I'm not saying they're the best tanks, but they're still really good. And they have like their unique identities. Sometimes on some boss fights, actually a Protection Warrior is better. I remember when I did, when I was like in a more casual guild in TBC Classic, there were so many times, for example on Illidan, where we should have lost the fight, but our Protection Warrior, who was also like a chat as well, pretty much carried our raid, because yeah, he like rotated his defensive abilities and we had a way longer time to actually finish the boss, and that's not something you can do with other classes. So yeah, that's that. Are they fun to play? Yeah, they are. They have like a lot of new things to play around. They have Devastate. I think Protection Warriors were actually more fun to play in Vanilla as well as Fury Prot. But they were just bad, because like there was no need to have that much survivability, and the talents were kind of trash. But yeah, it's like way cooler to play like a warrior with like a shield, a big shield, and one-hander, than to play, let's say, two one-hander and then have that as a tank. Like, come on, that's not a tank, man. Tank needs to use a shield, or be like a Feral Druid. Good. So that's that. Next thing, I'm going to talk about some important stats we care about as tanks. Basically, we care about defense. So that's the first thing we kind of need to think about. If we are going to like raids and such, we really want to think about defense. So basically, this was something that we didn't care about at all in Vanilla, but here we will. And we need like 490 defense to be crit immune. What this basically means is, of course, bosses have the ability to crit us. And that's something we really want to avoid, because again, bosses are going to hit extremely hard. They can also chain abilities similar to Vanilla, so you can get really unlucky. For example, against McFeraldon, you can get like a normal attack, then he can also cleave after, and then you can get really, really low. And yeah, if that's going to happen, if you are going to die, I will talk about that as well a bit later when I talk about stamina and such, why that is really important. But yeah, we want to aim for like 490 defense, then we are like capped. This site here, 60 upgrades, is really useful for that, because you can see all of the different defensive stats here. And for example, if you hover over total avoidance, you can actually see the boss chances. So you can see yeah, how high my avoidance would be against the boss. And you can see the boss crit chance is minus 0.112%. Or 12, yeah. 0.12%, minus 0.12%. So this means bosses can't crit me. If I would unequip like one tanking item here, so let me unequip this trinket, for example, you can see bosses will have the ability to actually crit me. 0.13%. 32%, which is of course really low, but you really don't want to gamble with that. Because what can happen is you can get really unlucky and can get the chain, and then you, like one of the attacks is also a crit, and you can just die, and then you like it's a wipe pretty much. So yeah, it's not the same thing we had in vanilla where some other Fury Warrior can just take over. No, they will also get one shot in 1 microsecond if that's going to happen. So yeah. One other thing we want to care about is also total avoidance, or just avoidance, because this means if you have enough, we can also be crush immune. Being crushed is also another ability bosses, or not really ability, but another hit bosses can do, which will do increased damage to us. So that's also something we want to avoid. To be crush immune, you would need to have 102.4% avoidance, which is something you can see right here I don't have, and that's also really, really difficult to get, but especially at the start. However, this is something where warriors are really insanely useful here, because they have something which is called shield block. Shield block is a basic ability, you probably know it from vanilla, it's the same thing we also have here. It costs 10 rage, requires level 16, and increases the chance to block by 75% for 5 seconds, but you can only block 1 attack. So yeah, if you have a talented, you can actually block 2 attacks. What does this even mean? Like, basically it means if we are going to use shield block, which we are of course going to use on cooldown, this means we have like a 25% chance to get hit instead of like the normal chance. This also means we only have a 25% chance to get crushed. So now let me take it into perspective. Again, if we would have 25% avoidance from our gear or maybe talents, whenever we are going to use shield block, we are pretty much crush immune, which is crazy to think about. 25% avoidance, you can get that on a Fury Warrior. Like, it's that easy. So yeah, this is a huge, huge bonus. So yeah, this makes shield block really, really useful, obviously as well. And this, basically, it is so easy to get. You basically get it from your talents. Like for example, in our talents, we have like deflection, which gives you 5% avoidance. We have like defense, of course, which also gives you some avoidance. So you are going to have like 25% avoidance just from your gear alone, which is of course like pretty insane from your talents alone, which is of course pretty useful. So whenever you are going to use shield block, you are pretty much crush immune. Still, we want to get more avoidance in general because we can't have shield block up permanently. I think that's pretty obvious. So yeah, the more avoidance means we are going to get hit way less. We are going to get hit hard way less. So yeah, that's something we really value. This is also really useful for some solo content. If you are going to do some solo stuff, you also want to have a lot of avoidance. Think about getting the ZG mount solo. So yeah, so that's it. That's something we have here, avoidance. If you are thinking about how can I get avoidance, it's pretty simple. So we have block chance, we have dodge chance, we have parry chance. All of this will go to avoidance, and it's really simple. Let's say you have 5% parry chance. This means you will also have 5% avoidance. It's that simple. Like for example, if you have like talents, the talent would give you some parry chance. That would increase your avoidance by that amount as well. Pretty simple. Defense also gives you some slight avoidance as well. Now we have some offensive stats we are going to look at. We have hit chance, for example. You can see this gear set only has 2% hit chance. And now you would think, oh man, this is horrible. Like what a bad gear set. Yeah, kind of true here, but the thing is, hit chance is actually not really that important. Threat in general is something which can be a problem, don't get me wrong, but should itemize against that if that is ever going to happen. But we have new things we can look at which will help with our threat generation. For example, one thing is actually misdirection, which is a hunter ability, which hunters of course always should use. This one will basically direct the threat the hunter would use to you, so they can cast it on you, and then the next 3 attacks they are going to do against any target, like against a raid boss or whatever, that will go directly to you, and you have some threat right at the start. This will be used pretty much on every pull, and also should be used by, of course, on cooldown, because that will give you some additional threat, and it's a really useful ability. And one other thing is you will have so much rage as well. Don't forget our talents, like we have reduced rage cost of thunder armor, and we also have a reduced cost of all of our offensive abilities as well. So all abilities are cheap as fuck, and you will have so much rage, so you can just spam a lot of stuff. This means if something is going to miss, yeah, whatever. Another thing we want to look at is actually expertise. So expertise is actually more important than hit rating, because it will give you more threat. And also, don't forget, like there are like a lot of things that can like expertise gives you. First of all, you will have parry reduction and dodge reduction. This means you will pretty much throw off 2 of the hits that can happen if you hit like a boss. And yeah, that is of course really nice. Parry reduction is also less damage for you, because if you parry the boss, they get parry hasted and they will actually hit you way faster than they would be normally. So yeah, obviously this is, again, you can actually get 2 things at once. However, expertise is pretty rare, so we won't see that a lot at the start. So you should rather focus expertise and then hit. But obviously, if you have struggles with threat, definitely try to get more expertise, get more hit, especially. Then you are, of course, good in that way. But again, pretty much the most important thing is that you want to get 490 defense, because you don't want to get crit by the boss and then immediately die. And yeah, you are going to get flamed. You don't want to be that tank that goes into raids. You have 490 defense, you do the first boss and you immediately get one shot, and it's like wipe after wipe, and then people ask you, hey, yo, do you have 490 defense? But yeah. One other thing is you don't actually need 490 defense, which is kind of weird, but you can also get some resilience gear. Resilience is a new stat that got introduced in TBC. You will find that on PvP gear, and basically what it will do is it will actually reduce the chance to get crit by a certain amount. And that is way more useful than actually having like a lot of defense, since like you can get a lot of crit chance reduction compared to like the amount of defense you would need. So basically, for example, I have 3 sets here. Like I have pretty much this one, which is like the easy set. Everyone can pretty much get this. Is like you can get this pretty easily. Like some of the items are of course a bit harder, but whatever. And I have one which is like purely PvP focused. Like a lot of PvP items, and you can see I only have 416 defense, not 490. Like I'm losing, I have way less defense. But if I scroll over here, you can see this boss crit chance is actually almost minus 3%. Why is that? Because I have so much resilience with this gear. I have 232. Again, this is of course like full PvP, and every single PvP item has like resilience. This means also like a lot of crit reduction. So yeah, again, this is a pretty long intro, but again, tanks are pretty special, especially how they gear. So I want to make some things clear, especially like the stats, like what you would maybe see, oh man, what is that, 2% hit. But don't forget, getting 9% hit chance is really difficult, as well as hitting like your defensive stat caps. I think, however, that is pretty important to mention as well. For the first phase, it might actually be better to gear more offensively, since if we are going to get nerfed content, bosses are going to hit way less, and then threat is of course obviously going to become more important. But I will talk about that when I talk about the phase 1 best in slot gear. Don't forget, you also have heroics, so yeah. But for heroics, of course, then you don't really need that high amount of defense, since you're not really going to fight great bosses in heroics, obviously. But yeah, now let's talk about some of the gear here. We have some stuff I want to talk about, and I also want to mention a lot of alternatives here. So this is the easy setup I kind of made. I did like some research, looked at different sets and such, like what gear could we kind of use, what gear is really easy to get, and what would be some of the best pieces we can kind of think of, and that's what I came up with here. So let's start with the helmet. This one is Wimbledon headdress. Mostly for this, like some of the rules I have here, for example, is actually, like for the easy set is like quest items, not really rare items, not really badge items, like unless you really need to. Of course, this one doesn't use any badges of justice item, not one. So yeah, you won't see this on this one, but I will talk about it obviously as well. So yeah, so let's see what we have here. And we have Wimbledon's headdress. This one drops from a quest. It's really easy to get. Has a red socket, meta socket, 33 defense. Yeah, this should be something you should 100% use and get if you are going to think about tanking. If you remember, maybe from my Fury Warrior guide, this is actually the quest where we get Helm of the Claw. So yeah, you might need to think, okay, which item do I want to get? If you're thinking about like being a Fury Warrior as well, to be honest, I would recommend getting Helm of the Claw and then getting any other tanking helmet, because there are multiple ones. And yeah, Helm of the Claw is kinda more of a difficult item compared to like others to replace. Then you have the neck, which is the mark of the Raven Guard. This one has a bunch of stamina and of course a lot of defense. Don't forget, you really want to get a lot of stamina. This set actually has 13k stamina, which is pretty crazy if you think about like vanilla numbers. This is also because, first of all, we are going to use a lot of stamina gear. Stamina is your best friend, because if you are going to get hit really, really hard because something happens, if you have enough stamina, you can survive and get healed. If you don't, you are dead, and then the raid is over. So yeah, it's pretty simple. This basically means whenever we can, we are going to also gem blue gems, which are the stamina ones. Solid Star of the Loon. This one is the one we 100% mostly want to gem. This will give us 12 stamina, which is pretty crazy, and it will give you like a huge amount of health if you stack a lot of them, as you can see. Don't forget, we have one talent here, which is Vitality. This one will also increase your total stamina by 5%. This basically means stamina stacks really well on Protection Warriors. So yeah, that's something we definitely want to have. For our meta gem, we are going to use Powerful Earthstorm Diamond. This one will give us additional stamina and 5% stun resistance. This one is of course like really niche, but the stamina is the one we really want. Again, stamina is your best friend. Don't forget that. Yeah, Mark of the Raven Guard is a neck we can get, 40 stamina, 17 defense. Oh, I didn't talk about some helmet alternatives. Let me do this. So again, this is a really, really easy one to get. So let's talk about if you want to upgrade from that one maybe. So we have like a black... no, not this one. This one is a protection pet one. I meant this one. Felsi helmet is something you can also get. This is a blacksmithing one. This one doesn't have any meta sockets, however. So yeah. But our meta socket isn't really that big of a thing, since don't forget, we are only going to use the meta socket because it has 18 stamina on it. So if you are of course having like another socket, we can put another 12 stamina gem here and you would get like more stamina from this piece. So yeah, this could be something you can think about as well. Otherwise, we have also a Badges of Justice item, which is Face Guard of Determination. This one is again, of course, a better helmet, obviously, but it costs 50 badges and it's really expensive. So yeah, I wouldn't really go for this at all, since you have better items you can get from badges. One item I will talk about in a second as well. What else do we have here? We have, because this one's also another blacksmithing helmet. You can also think about, if you are revered with honor alt, you can also get the Savage Plate helmet. This is really nice because it will give you a lot of resilience instead, which of course will give you some crit reduction. And it will make it so it's easier to get to that like crit cap And also it will give you some crit, which is again some additional threat, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's kind of how it works here. Mark of the Raven Guard, 40 stamina, 17 defense rating. How you get it? You get it from a really easy quest. Actually, I don't remember if that one was even easy. No, yeah, okay, it's from a dungeon. I think isn't that one the escort you have to do? Oh yeah, I think this one was the escort. I think this one was actually really annoying. But yeah, you can pick some necks here, and you can see most of them. Yeah, you could also pick that one if you are thinking about Fury, or if you think about like hit ratings. Actually has a lot of hit rating, to be honest. But yeah, this one is of course then really easy to get. Has a lot of stamina, 40 stamina, 17 defense, pretty nice. And of course it's from a quest. Quest items are always pretty nice to see. You can think about also maybe using this neck. This one has 19 defense, 27 stamina, however. So, however, the best one you should probably use is actually this one, Necklace of the Juggernaut. This one you can get with 25 badges, and this one should probably be your first item you get with badges. 19 agility, 33 stamina, 22 defense. Yeah, perfect amount of stats. Also pretty cheap, and a pretty nice tanking neck. For our shoulders, we are going to use Fan Blade Pauldrons. These ones are a bit more difficult to get. You need to do an heroic to get them. So what would be some alternatives? You could think about the shoulder guards of the Bold, which you can get from Shadow Labs. Obviously, we also have the arena gear, which are gladiator plate shoulders, but you will see this in the other set. Again, arena gear in general, or like PvP gear in general, is really useful. I will talk about some PvP gear which you should 100% try to get, which are also really easy to get, which you can even try to farm right now. Like, of course, you can't buy it right now, but when you are going to go, like, when you are going to hit level 70 and so on, you are already prepared and you can then buy it, which will, of course, give you a nice head start. But yeah, Shoulder Guards of the Bold, really nice item here as well. Drops from Shadow Labs, isn't like not even a heroic item. 25 strength, 25 stamina, 17 defense, 2 sockets. And it has like a... Yeah, the set bonus is not really that strong, but all of your short ability costs 2 less rage. I mean, yeah, you can take it if you want to. We will have this set bonus actually in this set, since I am going to use 2 bold items here. But yeah, you also have that one, which you can buy from honor points, but I would rather maybe spend it on somewhere else. You have also Savage Plate Shoulders, which you can get from Lower City Revered. This is another nice item since it has like a lot of resilience, but I try to exclude reputation items here besides one, which I think is a must-have. This is again a really easy one you could get right when you hit like level 70 without any like without a lot of preparation. Devil Shark Cape, and also the set is in general more focused on if you really like to do dungeons a lot and you want to grind some items from there. This one is Devil Shark Cape. This one drops from Steven Walls, and this should be 100% something you should try to farm. It's a really nice cape. This one has 22 stamina, 18 dodge, 20 defense, and also increase your shield block value of your shield by 29. Basically, I want to talk about something here with like you have like block value of your shield by 29, and you have like general block value, which I need to find here. I don't think I can actually. It's kind of rare, but yeah, there are like two different stats, and you kind of want to think about which one you really want to use. Wait, there's like Stylines. I can show you that one. So yeah, actually you have block rating and you have block value of your shield. Block rating is the one which will increase your block chance, so that one's actually the better one. Block value of your shield is the one which will increase the block value of your shield, which means if you are going to block, you are going to reduce more damage, and also, however, your shield slam is going to do more damage, because your shield slam, like the amount of damage you do with that ability, is based around how much shield block value you have. So yeah. But again, this cloak has a lot of defensive stats, so you 100% want to farm it. Drops from Steam Vault, it is one of the best cloaks you can get as a tank. Yeah. If you think about some alternatives, we have the Badges of Justice cloak, this one has like some additional armor, 30 stamina, and also some block value, again, which will give you some more threat. But yeah, it's kind of 25 Badges of Justice, I don't know. Then we have this one from Black Morass, 26 defense, 29 shield block value. But again, these ones don't give you any avoidance. This one does because it gives you dodge rating. So yeah, avoidance is pretty nice to have, especially early on because it's really rare. Cloak of Eternity, we have 23 defense rating here, 36 stamina. So yeah, if you maybe care about pure defense and stamina, this could be an option. You can get this from tailoring. But there are lots of different cloaks. Pretty much whenever you see like kind of a defensive cloak, you can think about it. To be honest, what you should be focusing on is, of course, obviously stamina. Defense, whenever you think about, okay, I need to hit my defense cap. And some other additional nice things are, of course, always some avoidance, things like dodge rating, which this one has. Of course, also block rating, but that one's more rare. And parry rating, which is, of course, even more rare. Don't forget, parry ratings also a DPS increase for you, which means more threat. Since if you parry more, your attack is going to get like that. You are going to get like more attack speed. Basically, if you are going to parry, or like the boss parries, let's say you hit him, he has maybe like a 3-second swing timer. It actually gets reduced if the boss is going to parry. The same thing is going to happen to you, so you are going to get more attacks and which is more threat. But yeah, parry and such is more rare. Don't go out of your way to get these stats, because that's not something you should do. So yeah, Devil Shark Cape, if you have it, perfect. It's a really nice cloak. It also looks kind of nice as well. For the chest, we have Breastplate of the Bolt. This one is something you can get in Alcatraz. This one has 3 sockets, 23 strength, 21 agility, 33 stamina, 19 defense. Is part of the Bolt set, and something that is not that difficult to get. Alcatraz is not the easiest dungeon, but yeah. This is, of course, also another pre-raid Besson slot item you can get. It's really nice. If you think about some alternatives, if you are a blacksmith and you really don't care about like mace or whatever, and you maybe want to keep being an armor smith, you can think about the Breastplate of Kings, which you can also upgrade. This one is the Armor Smith exclusive item, which you can only craft if you're an Armor Smith. Similar, where we had like Dragonmaw and such, this one's the Armor Smith one. This one's really nice because it gives you like huge amounts of stats and also gives you like 20 hit rating. You can upgrade it as well, and then you can have like an additional kind of last stand bonus, which will also increase your strength. So yeah, this one's kind of a mixed item, so pretty nice, obviously. You have also some PvP gear here, if you are revealed with the Shatara, which you might be because there's a really nice shield you can get. You can also pick up the Savage Blade chest piece. Vendors have some PvP items they can sell you. Actually, I don't know if this is actually available even in Phase 1. Is it? It says Phase 1, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, because these items are pretty much the same ones you can just buy from having enough honor and marks. So yeah, you can see these have the same stats, but just a different set. Also, if you use 2 of them, you get the really insanely strong set bonus where you have 35 additional resilience, which is of course a huge mitigation bonus. But yeah, other stuff we can also think about. This one maybe from blacksmithing, another blacksmithing piece. No, this one not. There was like another one. I think it was this one. Yeah, if you are revealed with the Aldo, you can also get this one. There are lots of different replacements you can think about if you're doing dungeons, whatever. There are like so many different chests. But Breastplate of the Bolt is one of the best ones, since it has it has so many stats and 3 sockets is crazy. If you fit that one with like a lot of stamina gems, Yeah, this one will give you tons of stamina. One other thing I want to quickly mention here about gems. You think maybe, I can't use the blue gems, they are way too expensive for me. Maybe I just shouldn't use any gems or whatever. Just buy the cheaper ones, just buy the green ones. No one's going to say anything. Yeah, like it's whatever, it's still going to be gems. People mostly look about if you have the enchants, and even if you have gems. You will see so many people at level 70 with not even white gems in their gear. Like, okay, so yeah, that's kinda how it will look like. So at least use some gems, even if they are white, doesn't matter. Gems in general should always be used. For the bracers, we have, I actually used the green pair of bracers here, which are the junior technique and third grade bracers, again from a Neverstorm quest. Neverstorm has some of the most goated quests ever. The gear you can get from that place is crazy. Like, it's so insane. So yeah, you can do a quest here, and a lot of the gear is green, and you would maybe think, okay, that's like horrible, but just look at this item. First of all, we can look at maybe what we can get here. But yeah, these bracers, 11 hit rating, 11 defense rating, 10 agility, 24 stamina. So the defense isn't that high, but you also get some additional hit rating, which is, again, pretty nice. This is really rare on a tanking item, especially early on, to have defense and hit. So you won't see this a lot. So if you can actually find it, it's pretty nice. And this is, again, like a quest you can do in Neverstorm. Yeah. And Neverstorm has some insanely good stats. Protection Paladins are going to be really familiar with that place. They can get some really nice spell power items, tanking spell power items from that place. But what are some alternatives? Do we have some better stuff? Yeah, obviously it's like a green quest item, so we definitely have. We have the Bam Braces of Daring. This one drops in Hellfire Ramparts and Heroic. This one has 11 defense, strength, stamina, and also some block value. And this is a pretty nice thing to use. We also have the Braces of the Green Fortress. This is from Blacksmithing. However, this is also more of a rare receipt. So, these one have 10 dodge, 17 defense, 39 stamina. So yeah, really, really good pair of bracers. But we also have these here, which are the Shatari Wrought Arm Guards. 1 socket, 20 strength, 18 stamina, 12 defense. So also really nice. Can give you like pretty nice bonus. These come from a quest, where you can also pick up the Spy Mistress Wrist Guards if you are a Fuel Warrior, if you might remember that one. So yeah, also a pretty nice thing to use. I will talk about weapons at the end again. So let's talk about the hands first, which are the Gauntlets of the Bolt. This is another bolt item. This one drops from Steambolt. So again, you're going to do Steambolt anyways for the cloak. So you can also pick this one up if it drops. This drops from multiple bosses, I think, if I'm right. You can also look at this. I think it drops from multiple bosses. Or actually only one, I guess. So yeah, there's some Warlord Califresh. And these are really good because they have like 14 defense, 2 sockets, strength, agility, stamina. Again, the bolt set is actually really nice. If you think about using something else, maybe you don't want to farm Steambolt so much, you can also use Feldsteel Gloves. These are really, really good. They have big amount of armor, 27 stamina, 2 sockets, 25 defense. So they have a huge amount of defense. So definitely something you can pick up. Feldsteel set in general is also really nice. You can also craft it yourself if you are a blacksmith. Or you can just buy it off the auction house. Shouldn't be that expensive, to be honest. What else do we have? We have, like this one is more, of course, like this is more expensive. Like another blacksmithing pair of hands. Gauntlets of the Iron Tower, 30 stamina, 26 resilience, 20 defense. So this piece alone would give you so much crit reduction. Also 2 sockets, don't forget that. So yeah, pretty crazy as well. Okay, this one's like, yeah, I don't know why you would use that one. We have also these gauntlets are also good. Gauntlets of Descension. This one is an epic piece you can get in the Botanica Heroic. 24 strength, 23 agility, 36 stamina, 24 defense. So yeah, pretty crazy. However, it's an epic piece from an heroic dungeon, so that's why I didn't really include this. Again, this is more of like an easy setup. You can see how easy it is to actually hit the defense cap even with some bad gear. So yeah. For the belt, we are going to use the Shatari Vindicator's Waist Guard. This one drops from the Arcatraz. This one is something you can get from a quest. Or do I have? Yeah. Again, this one is something I mentioned in another video as well. In a Fury Warrior video where I talked about this belt, Shattrath Champion belt. But you can also do this one, and you can get a really nice tanking belt here. Yeah, this one, for example, can be good for ferals. This one, of course, for warriors. 20 defense, 24 block rating this time, and also some shield block value. 33 stamina. So yeah, there's like nothing you can really say that's wrong about this belt. Arcatraz in general is also something you will do for the breastplate of the bolt. So you can do two things at once, obviously. And at least if it doesn't drop, if the breastplate doesn't drop, you still have like a really nice belt. There are many other alternatives. For example, we have some which you can get if you do some heroics, slave pants heroics. You can get the girdle of the immovable, 2 sockets, 18 defense, 12 block rating, pretty nice. You have, let me think about it. There was like another piece you could also get. Yeah, you have this one. This one's, I mean, you could technically also use this one, but this is of course obviously better for protection paladins, so I wouldn't really use that one. I would highly recommend getting the martial plate belt. I will talk about that one more when I talk about the phase 1 bis and the PvP set, but you have some items which you can get with honor and some marks, which you can already farm right now. This one is only 18,000 honor, so you can easily farm this in the pre-patch. And it also requires 40 Arathi Basin Mark of Honor. So if you grind a lot of Arathi Basin, and you can easily get this, and like if you hit, the moment you hit level 70 and you get this, of course this is going to be a big piece. 27 crit, 27 resilience, 40 stamina, 27 strength. This is a really nice belt. I didn't include it here because again this is more of like an easy set, but this would be something I highly recommend getting that. So what else do we have? We have the Time Warden leggings. This is an insanely strong piece. This one you can get from the Keepers of Time at Revered, which will take a bit of grinding, but not really that much, to be honest. I think you get a lot of reputation if you just do the attunement quest, like the attunement quest for the dungeons. Caverns of Time, the dungeons are a bit weird because you actually need to do them in an, like you actually need to attune for the dungeons, which is kind of weird. Like you do one quest where you need to sit and just listen to, like, actually you can also follow it, but you can also sit at a certain spot. That place will be grieved 24/7. However, there's like a quest you can do, and then you can, if you do that quest, you can unlock like old hill spread. Hills, that dungeon, and if you do that dungeon and also do the quest there, you can unlock Black Morass. So that's kind of how it works, and these quests will of course give you a lot of reputation as well. So yeah, it's not really that difficult to hit Revered. And also you are going to do many runs of Black Morass probably, if you're thinking about maybe grabbing the Hourglass as well. These ones are really strong because look at the stats. 57 stamina, which is insane. 3 sockets, 11 dodge, 18 defense. Yeah, you can buy these off the vendor. I actually remember these really well. I remember I did so many runs of Black Morass with a friend of mine who was a protection paladin. And I remember, I think when he like hit Revered, I think he bought these, and yeah, he got a lot of stats of these as well, which really helped, like with some tanking and such, doing other dungeons. Man, these were some good times. So. For the boots, oh, actually, let me talk about some replacements. Sorry. We have Felsteel leggings again, another Felsteel set. Don't forget, however, leg items in general require some more materials to craft. So this could be something that is a bit more annoying to get. You can also think about Shattered Halls. This is one dungeon you will probably do because last boss can actually drop a tanking trinket, which is pretty nice to see, which is the figurine of the Colossus. This is one of the most famous tanking trinkets, especially for solo farming. Again, you can see each successful block heals you for 120, effect lasts 20 seconds. This is of course obviously really useful for AoE tanking. More on a paladin obviously, but still can be nice on a protection warrior as well. I remember on a protection paladin, when my friend like found some stuff, he went into a dungeon like in strat. He had like 0 HP, popped the trinket, and he was like at full HP in 1 second. It was kind of like, that trinket's pretty crazy. But yeah, can be something you can pick up. 3 sockets, 25 strength, 37 stamina, and 25 defense. This means basically it will give you like some more threat, like it's more threat focused, since type 1 doesn't have any like strength. We also have some epic pieces here. Vanquisher leg plates from the Mechana on heroic. 23. Oh no, wait, this is the wrong one. There was like one piece. Oh yeah, this one I think it was. Oh, this one's lever. Yeah, exactly. The lever walking one is also nice. Has some defense rating here. Again, there are so many different pieces you can pick up. You also have this one from a quest. 42 stamina, 23 agility, some defense, some parry actually, which is of course more rare. But yeah, we also have the leg plates of the bolt, which drop from the Black Mariahs, which you will probably see, I think, as well. But yeah, like nothing's really comparable to Time War leggings, let's be honest. You really want to get these, since the amount of stats and the sockets and so on, everything's so nice about them. For the boots, I have Bloodguard Greaves. These are really nice. They give you a huge amount of stats. Again, it's another Neverstorm quest. 11 strength, 42 stamina, 16 defense. So basically, when you are going to level and you do it by questing, I would highly recommend Neverstorm, because not only can you pick up a lot of really nice pieces there. Oh, wait, this was the wrong one. You can also, of course, level, get some XP. And yeah, it's a really nice place. You can see how good the items are actually. Like the items you can get here are pretty crazy. Even though they are greens, for example, we have like our Prebis ranged weapon as well from that place as a Fury Warrior. But yeah, of course, we also have other stuff here. Some alternatives would be, again, martial weapons, martial gear, which is going to be the martial plate greaves. These are really nice. Oh wait, are these the correct ones? They should be, yeah. These ones are really nice. You can get them also with honor. However, the problem with these is you can't pre-farm it. You can only have 40. You need 40 Eye of Storm marks, and Eye of Storm, of course, will only be open once you can actually go to Outland. So yeah, it's unfortunate. These are really nice, however, because they give you, again, some resilience, some crit, so they are more threat focused. We have, what else do we have? I need to, man, there are so many different boots. So yeah, you can also, this is something I forgot to mention. If you have tier 3, you can definitely keep using that one. All of the tier 3 pieces you can see, they will gain some defense rating, and it's actually not really that bad. The conversion is not that bad, and they are still really, really nice to use as well. So if you have it already, yeah, of course you can keep using that. But maybe people are new, maybe people don't have it. So of course, then it's something else here. We also have these ones, Flesh Beast, Metal Greaves, 25 stamina, some defense, some dodge, from another quest, from the Mana Tomes. But you can also get some other pieces here, but of course we would care about the boots. Yeah, there are like many different pieces you can get. This is probably, I think, the hardest item to get here, unless... actually, no, it's not really the hardest one, to be honest. But I would say this one requires some grinding. The other ones, you kind of need to be lucky. Shapeshifter Signet is something you 100% want to pick up. That's why I definitely have it on here. Basically, why this is so good, it gives you some agility, stamina, and expertise. Expertise is really rare. You can use this ring for so many different situations, since yeah, having that one on a ring is really nice. With the other stats as well, going to be really useful as well. Agility again is also some mitigation, so yeah, always nice. Then you have Crystal Band of Valor. This one drops from Mana Tomes on Heroic. This is a really strong ring. 27 stamina, 22 defense, 16 hit rating. The reason why this is so good, because it has some hit rating and defense. Again, this is pretty rare, especially in the beginning as well. And the stats are like also really good on that one. Some alternatives would be, for example, Wind Trainer's Band, which is pretty much a similar item, which you can get again from Neverstorm. Oh, what a surprise. Wow, Neverstorm has so much good gear. Maybe I didn't talk so much bullshit. Yes, you should definitely get some items, like do your questing in Neverstorm if you are high enough. You can get some really nice items there. This one has 33 stamina, 6 agility, 12 defense, and 6 hit rating. I mean, the stats are really low on this item, don't get me wrong. But still, like, it's just a quest, you know? Like, it's not... Rocket Sights is pretty much guaranteed. It's also not like a whatever heroic quest or something like that. You just need to kill this guy here. I think it's not even an elite quest. And yeah, you can get some nice items here. I think I used this actually. Wait, I think I did. I'm not too sure. But of course, Ring of the Dreadnought is nice. 15 defense, 12 dodge, 27 stamina from Next Rammers if you have it. Some other options are... Yours Revenge, you can kind of forget that one. That is pretty much impossible to get. We have like one wall drop ring, 36 stamina, 26 defense. But yeah, this will be insanely expensive. Don't go for that one. Like, trust me. Well, it's not worth it. We have Elementium Band of Sentry. 20 defense, 19 dodge, 24 stamina. I think, however, in general, you should use Crystal Band because, yeah, it has 1% hit pretty much, 22 defense, 27 stamina. It's just a really, let's say, mixed item you can get, like some threat, some defense, some stamina. You can't really go wrong with that one. There are, of course, more purely defensive items, more purely offensive items. But this one is a really nice mixed item. For trinkets, we are going to use Goblin Rocket Launcher. This one is a trinket you can craft if you are an engineer. You can actually craft two different ones. You can craft the Goblin Rocket Launcher or Norbish Pulverizer. The Rocket Launcher is better. Both of these will give you 45 stamina. That's why we use it. That's pretty much it. The effect is nice, but we don't really care about that. We care about the 45 stamina. It's a huge amount of stamina. It's crazy. Let's see, like I have 13k HP here. Let's see what would happen if I would unequip it. Yeah, it's like 1000 HP pretty much. Oh, okay, not really. But yeah, it's like 500, 600 HP. So yeah, 100% you want to have that. Engineering in general is really useful for protection warriors. That will give you some AoE threat. You have different things you can craft. And yeah, if you aren't an engineer, I will talk about some alternatives. Don't worry. But yeah, this is a really nice trinket to use. You can also use it twice. It will be expensive to craft, don't get me wrong. I think it was really expensive. Oh yeah, 6 Primal Fire. Yeah, that's why I only have one here. If you want to go all out, you can even craft 2, but that's going to be insanely expensive. This is one of the more difficult items I have here, but there are many alternatives here as well. We have Stylines. This is an item you can get right now in Vanilla from Blackwing Lair, if you think about it. This one is one item that no one really used, but now you will see many more people actually as selling this one. This will give you 24 block rating, 24 block value, 20 defense. I think I gave that one to my friend even last time I dropped. I got it, I think. Yeah, I gave it to my Prot paladin friend, so I can prep a bit for TBC. Because I'm not really going to play a tank. We have also some other items here. Oh yeah, there are many trinkets. So yeah, I need to think about this as well. There's one trinket you can get from the Keepers of Time. Again, this is one reputation where you can also get the Time Warden leggings off. But if you are exalted with that one, you can get Time Lapse Shard. This is a really nice trinket. Gives you 27 stamina, 24 resilience. The threat reduction thing is something you don't want to use, especially as a tank. But yeah, 24 resilience is a huge amount of crit immunity, so definitely something. If you are thinking about maybe grinding Keepers of Time, you can do that. It's one of the more, I would say, more chill reputations to grind, to be honest. Everyone says Keepers of Time is really easy, but I thought, like, to be honest, no, everyone said Lower City is really easy, but I thought Lower City was kind of annoying, where Caverns of Time was really like more chill. But you also have that one, which you can craft from jewel crafting, Dawnstone crab. You can make some figurines, as you can see here, and they will also have some stats. So if you're on jewel crafter, you can do that. If you think about non-profession focused trinkets, first of all, I want to mention the second one I'm using here, which is Regal Protectorate. This one gives some defense, 26 defense, and also has like an increased maximum health by 900. Pretty much a last stand effect. And this one is really easy to get. This one is something you can pick up really early on from a quest in Hellfire Peninsula. It's like a quest really early on, which will give you some really nice trinkets. And this is a tanking one you have. So we have this quest here, yeah, from Overlord, or if you do the Horde one, it's called Cruel's Intentions, and yeah, you can get this trinket, or you can pick Blade Fist Breath. This would be the DPS one, but yeah, there's also a Spellcaster one, obviously. For some other stuff here, we have Dabiri's Enigma. This one will increase your defense rating by 30, and if you use it, increase your block rating by 125 for 15 seconds. This one's a quest in Neverstorm, so yeah, another good trinket you can get there. I think this was more often like an end game, not end game, but end quest from like a chain. Yeah, suggest player 5. And you have some different items you can get here. Most of them, sadly, this one doesn't really include any DPS items that we care as Fury Warriors, but the Regal's Enigma is pretty nice. So this is of course something that is guaranteed. We have, it's kind of funny, but this item actually is more useful in TBC. Parry rating, defense, 7 health. But you probably already used that one for the hit neck, I would say. That's what I did, obviously. We have also Glyph of Deflection if you care about vanilla items here. Some block rating, some block value, and why does it say? Oh, it also has the on-use effect, increase your block value of your shield. Block rating would be better, like, because block rating is, don't forget, block rating is avoidance. Block value is just some additional threat in this case. Yeah, still can be something that is pretty nice. Oh yeah, we are going to go into. And we have one item which I would highly recommend getting, which is Icon of Unyielding Courage. This one is an item you can get in the Blood Furnace on Heroic. This is one dungeon that is one of the hardest Heroic dungeons, so you need to kind of prepare for that. However, this trinket is really nice. It gives you 30 hit, and the on-use effect will pretty much give you 600 armor penetration. This is again one of the best threat trinkets you can get. So yeah, if you have DFT from Vanilla, you can also use that one. Don't forget, it's a really nice item. 20 hit, just more than 1% hit. 56 attack power, 12 dodge. So yeah, still a really good item. We have, there was like another item which was similar. Oh yeah, we have also the Terracar Tablet of Precision. This one is something you can get in Terracar Forest. Gives you some hit, gives you some attack power. So you kind of want to have like a different set of trinkets depending what you care about, like even either mitigation, threat. This is like a general thing you want to do. Again, I think I forgot to talk about that at the start, but there's no perfect gear set for tanks. It is like all a subjective thing, and like depending on your situation. Always. It's always that. Let's say you are going into a raid or you are with a guild and you see, I don't really get hit a lot, get hit really hard, but I have some threat issues. So then you go for more threat gear and replace some of your pure mitigation items maybe. If you have the opposite, where you of course have a lot of threat, or actually the opposite is, I think, a bit worse. Why that is the case? Because that's like harder to analyze, to be honest. Like, let's say you do a boss and you get hit really, really hard, but nobody's telling you, like the healers are not telling you, for example. You can only like really guess maybe, and then you get maybe one shot as well. You don't really know, okay, was that maybe I got unlucky, maybe I don't have enough health. But in general, if that happens a lot, you should go for more mitigation gear, for more health, for more stamina. If you have threat issues, it's, I think, easier to fix because you can just get more hit gear, you can get more crit gear, you can get more expertise gear. But the other thing is like more difficult, I would say, to be honest. But yeah, also this one is a nice crit trinket, Black Hand's Breath. You could maybe also think about using. But obviously the TBC ones are going to be better. Good. What else do we have here? That's kind of it for trinkets. Again, there is like a lot of so many different trinkets to use. Again, Hourglass, of course, obviously is a really nice threat trinket as well. There's pretty much only two choices. You can either use mitigation trinkets or you can use defensive, or you can use threat trinkets. Things that give you offensive stats. And then you would maybe look at like some Fury Warrior trinkets as in that way. You should have like different trinkets anyway for like different situations. Always. So of course Bloodlust Rouge also always useful. For ranged weapon we have Mark V Throwing Star. This is again never Storm Quest. I think this one was hard, if I remember right. Oh, wasn't that one where you had to control one? Oh, I think this one was a bit more difficult. But basically you can get some ranged weapon from this one, which is that one. 7 agility, 10 stamina, 7 hit, 14 attack power. But again, it's a quest. You have the same item also as a bow, but if you have the chance, always pick the throwing weapon. First of all, you don't need ammo. That's actually the only reason. You don't need ammo, so that pretty much saves you one inventory slot. So yeah, really, really nice, obviously. Some alternatives. The alternatives are actually like way more difficult to get. We have Spine Sever, which gives you 10 hit, 20 attack power, 11 agility, 12 stamina. This one you can get from a pig, like from a junk box, and you can also obviously buy it from the auction house. But yeah, this is going to be insanely expensive. You have Gyro Balance Corium Destroyer, which you can craft as an engineer, but you can see the costs here already. Yeah, it is expensive. Then we have one you can get in Mechana. Never Strike has 16 crit, 15 stamina. One nice thing is, if your Fury Warriors are not really retarded, they are not going to compete with you with these throwing weapons here, or like ranged weapons. Because they have the really easy Members Insurance to get, and that one's like better than everything else anyway, unless you want to think about like maybe World Boss things or maybe stuff from raids. Yeah. One other thing is, if you have it, Crossbow of Imminent Doom, if you have that one from Vanilla, from AQ20, you can keep that one. That one is also really good, because 10 hit rating, 7 agility, 5 stamina, 5 strength, still pretty useful. Yeah, we have some engineering ones. There are like many ones, to be honest. But of course, the one I used here is like one of the easier ones to get and has like big amount of stats. So now let's talk about weapons, because that's always interesting. For weapons, we have different choices depending on what we want to do. Latros Shifting Sword is pretty much the best threat weapon you can use. If I can actually find it here, which I can't because this is really weirdly itemized. But yeah, Latros is really nice because it is really fast. You want to use a fast weapon if you care about a lot of threat. You have a lot of expertise here, which is nice. Expertise is, again, like I said previously, pretty much one of the best threat stats you can get. 26 attack power, 15 agility, like really strong sword. You get that one in Black Morass. So again, a lot of the items are kinda located in the same place with this set, which is of course a nice thing. If you are thinking about maybe some heroic stuff, then you kind of want to use, like, for dungeons and such, you kind of want to use maybe a slower weapon, because that is also something you can kind of think about doing. Latros is in general really nice for, of course, thinking about maybe raid bosses, stuff like that, where you need a lot of where you actually need a lot of threat and such, and where you get hit and you can actually spend your rage. Again, faster weapons, you can actually dump your rage way faster because you can use more heroic strikes. With slower weapons, of course, obviously you can't do that. So yeah, that's obviously pretty easy thing to distinct. I would highly recommend just get Latros and then you are pretty good. If you are going to talk about some other protection gear, we have Blaze Guard. This is one of the best weapons you can get, but it requires swordsmithing. So if you aren't a swordsmith, however, if you maybe think about, maybe you're playing arms and Prot, and as an arms warrior, you can actually think about like Lionheart Blade, then you can also craft that one. Blaze Guard as well. So yeah, that could be something you can do. This is one of the best items you can get. This one is insanely good. It has 25 stamina, 7 agility, and 17 hit rating. So a really good tanking weapon. It's also really fast, 1.6 speed. Not that fast as Latros, but still, obviously a really good one. Then you have the Sun Eater, which is something you can get in Mechana Heroic. This is one of the best looking swords in the game as well. So man, look at this. This one looks crazy with Mongoose as well. So yeah, 1.6 speed, nice amount of damage, 13 defense, 19 dodge, 22 stamina. This is one of the best tanking weapons. This one is however more mitigation focused, obviously. Doesn't have any expertise, doesn't have any hit rating, nothing. But yeah, if you get this one, if you get lucky in Mechana, yeah, 100% do it, keep it, like keep using it. Still, it might make sense to actually still pick up a Latros. So maybe you are struggling on some threat, then you can actually use that one. For another weapon, we also have something you can get from a reputation, which is if you are exalted on an alt, you can get Honor's Call. This one is, I think, an Alliance exclusive, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think this one was. Oh yeah, that's like I forgot to talk. That's like another choice you can also make. But this would be like the Alliance option. This is a sword, of course. 16 defense, 8 hit rating, 13 stamina, 1.8. But not that strong. It's not really that strong. But we also have Warbringer, which is the Horde option, which I can't find. Why can't I find it? What? Did I disable something here? Yeah, I will just go into this one. But yeah, okay. I can't find it because my character is a human. That's why. We have Warbringer, which is an axe, which is pretty much the same thing. 16 defense, 7 hit, 12 stamina. So depending on what faction you are, you have like a different reputation in Hellfire Peninsula, which is the first area you are going to go to in TBC. And yeah, if you are Horde, you are going to, of course, work towards Thrallmar reputation. If you are Alliance, you are going to work to Honor Alt reputation. You can see the camps are also really close. This place will be a war zone at the start. yeah, just to mention that as well. But yeah, this is a really nice X, obviously. What else do we have? We have... I wouldn't really use daggers. If maybe you might be thinking, okay, what about daggers? Daggers are fast. You can build up a lot of threat. I don't think it's really worth it. Like, you are going to lose out on a lot of damage, especially regarding things like Devastate. So yeah, I think it's not really worth it. Another thing you could also maybe think about using is the Hungering Cold. This one comes from, of course, Vanilla, if you have it. This one is really nice because it's really fast. And it has 14 expertise, 14 stamina. So yeah, also like another threat option, which is pretty nice. We have another thing which I want to talk about, which is Warpstorm Warblade, Mana Tomes Heroic, 21 stamina, 13 defense, 15 hit rating. Pretty nice sword. And now I want to talk about something which would be really nice to use in a dungeon maybe. Maybe where you don't really need a lot of threat. Or like, yeah, you want to use something slower where you might need to cleave a lot. You can use Tarok's Night Maze. This one drops in Sapphire Halls. This one has 19 expertise and 25 stamina. Is however 2.0 speed. So yeah, that's something I would need to mention here. But yeah, you have many options here, and for the set I have picked Latros. For the shield, which is of course obviously important because you are going to be using a shield always, I'm using Platinum Shield of the Valorous. This one drops from... Oh man, I need to filter it. Let's see. Disable everything. So yeah, we have that one. This one drops from Shadow Labs. I was kind of confused because there are two shields which look really similar. So that's 33 stamina, 24 defense. This is a really nice shield to fill up some defense we need. So that's why I have it here. It's obviously not the best shield. So we have some alternatives here. We have the Aegis of Sunbird. This one has 19 defense and 29 block value, 27 stamina. This is like more... this one has more threat on it, but it has less stamina. And then we have some Badges of Justice shields. We have, not this one. We have the Azure Shield of Caldara, costs 33 badges. Shields are actually not that expensive if you think about it. Or like, you don't really need a lot of badges here. This one is really nice. Increased defense rating by 22. Increased block value by 33. 31 stamina. However, the best one, pre-raid this you should use, is probably the Crest of Shatar. 19 stamina, 2 blue sockets, 13 defense, 24 block value. However, you need to be exalted with the Shatar. Yeah. That is, of course, not something that is going to be really easy, and it's going to be a bit pretty annoying. But yeah, again, this shield is pretty sick. But what you could also do is you could kind of just keep using that one, and then maybe you get Alduri Legacy Defender from Gruels, and then you're good. So yeah, we have some other options here as well. We have, not really this one. We have some TBC options, Plague Barrier, for example, which you can get. Shield of the Void, 24 stamina, 16 defense, 24 block value. There are like many other options. With shields, if you are going all out, you can also think about maybe getting the Arena Shield. This one is crazy, 45 stamina, 29 resilience. It will, yeah, it's pretty sick. But to be honest, Platinum Shield of Valorous, if you have that one, then you are pretty good, I would say. Yeah, that's kind of something I can say here. Good, so we have that. Something I don't really want to forget is now I want to talk about a bit about gems, but I said most stuff already. And I want to talk about, of course, obviously enchants. So first of all, let's talk about gems. Gems in general, we always want to use blue gems if we can, which are Solid Star of Elune. There are other gems as well which we could use depending on the situation. If you want to go for more, maybe let's say threat, you can use Jack gems. They will give you crit and stamina. But yeah, If you are thinking about you don't have enough, you are not defense capped, in this case I actually mean like you are not crit immune yet, you can also use another gem, which I used in the phase 1 Prot best in slot set, which I need to find here. I think I used it, yeah, I used it here. Which is this one, Steady. This one is one which will give you resilience rating and stamina instead. And of course, resilience, if you don't know, you get a lot of crit immunity from resilience. So that's something you kind of want to think about using whenever you need to get more crit immunity. So yeah. So now let's talk about some enchants here. We have a lot of them, and of course a lot of them are like defensive focused. So first of all, for our head, we have Glyph of the Defender. This one is technically not the best one, but first of all, let's talk about what it does. It will give you 16 defense and 17 dodge rating. You can apply it to your head. One thing that is like kind of unique about TBC, but it got also, I think it's the same thing in Wrath of the Lich King, is you have these many different reputations which you need to farm to revere it at least to do the dungeons. On heroic, I mean. And they will also sell you some head enchants. For example, for Fury Warriors, you want to have Cenarian Expedition. For the DPS one, which is Glyph of Ferocity. But the tanking one actually is Keepers of Time. But don't forget, we have some stuff we want to get from there anyway. Things like Time Warden Leggings, and also maybe that really nice trinket at Exalted. We have another one which is better, which is actually from Vanilla, which is the Presence of Might. This one gives us 10 stamina, 10 defense, and 15 shield block value. This one, however, is more annoying to get. You need to do Zul'Gurub, you need to get Idols, and then you can actually get this enchant. So if you're thinking about it, maybe do it right now and save some and use it on a really nice helmet. Let's say maybe your tier 4 best in slot helmet. That would be something you can actually do. But yeah, Glyph of the Defender is fine, you know, like it's not crazy difference here. So yeah. If you want to get more threat, you would use Glyph of Ferocity. Because this one gives you hit rating, attack power, obviously. I think this is kind of easy to get here. So yeah. We also have this one, but whatever. Then for the shoulders, we are going to use this one, which is the Greater Inscription of the Knight. This one will give us 15 defense, 10 dodge rating. This one we can get from the Scries if you are exalted. There's also another one which is pretty much similar to this one, which will give us 15 dodge and 10 defense instead. But that would require Aldor exalted. If you are not exalted, you can also, of course, obviously use the honored ones. I think they will be like more. They will be more easier to get. Obviously, 13 defense here from the Scryer one, 13 dodge from the Aldor one, and you also have stuff like this one, which from Next Remus, but this one is not that good. It will just give you 16 stamina, 100 armor. It's pretty nice if you don't care about like if you don't really need the avoidance or you just want to go more raw stamina. But yeah. Of course, we also have like threat ones we could pick. If we are exalted with Scryers or Aldor, we can also, of course, obviously pick the offensive one. Or we can use Smite of the Scourge if we have it. So yeah, lots of options. For the cloak, we are going to use 12 dodge rating. This is, yeah, like a no-brainer. 12 dodge on the cloak is pretty sick. This one you can get, I think you can get this from a drop. I'm pretty sure. I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is... Oh yeah, this is from... this is a vanilla enchant actually. 1%. This one was 1% dodge, if I remember right. Yeah, we are going to use some vanilla enchants. Man, I forgot about this. But I think you can also get this from a vendor as well. Oh yeah, Lower City Quartermaster. Oh, you need to be exalted, so... Oh, you are going to be exalted anyways. So if you are an enchanter, you can also think about that. You need to be exalted anyways for the rings, because then you can get this enchant here as well. or maybe you have it. I think since Classic Anniversary is still right here, you will probably find someone who has this enchant. Don't forget, some of the vanilla enchants are really good. So yeah, this is one of them, obviously. And it just got translated into ratings instead. Then you have +6 stats on our chest. Yeah, nothing I can really say here. Could also maybe use greater stats, but that one's also expensive. You could also maybe use heavy knot-height armor as well. This one will give you 10 stamina instead, or like 8 stamina if you want to use the cheap one. So there are lots of options. For the bracers, we are going to use 12 stamina, fortitude. This one is pretty expensive though, remember right. Yeah, it's really expensive. So maybe it makes more sense. I actually haven't checked that one. So it might actually make more sense to think about using something else, especially for these green bracers. So just go with superior stamina instead, which is like way cheaper, 9 stamina, and then you are good. Like you don't need to go all out. You have 15 illusion dust. So just get that one. I will change it here, the set. We don't need to go crazy for a bit more stamina, especially on a green pair of bracers. Actually, yeah. Then we have Latro Shifting Sword. Obviously, the best enchant is Mongoose. I mean, like, it's kind of a no-brainer here. It is going to be your best threat enchant, and also 120 agility is going to be huge for your avoidance. So, yeah. However, it is... Yeah, this is pretty overkill, especially like for like a dungeon weapon. So what else you could use is you could use something like greater agility instead. So like having agility on your weapon is of course also some nice avoidance you can use. I wouldn't really use stuff like life stealing or whatever. It's not really worth it. They are not really good. So yeah, you rather off just using something like agility instead. For the shield, we are going to use 18 stamina. Yeah, it's a huge amount of stamina on your shield, and it's really nice. For our hands, we are going to use 2% threat. This is one enchant that is really important. This is also another classic enchant, actually. So yeah, it's not really mentioned in here. I don't know. Okay, it's like, yeah, threat is difficult to translate for like protection. That's why it has like 0 value here. The reason why this is so good is percentage based. Basically, they had no threat ratings, so they just used, okay, fuck it, we are just going to use percentage based again instead. So you will always use this one on your hands, since it's really, really good. And I think you got this from AQ, but you can also get it from the vendor. This time from Shatara if you are exalted, if you are like an enchanter, but people will have it. I remember in TBC Classic that was more rare to find. Since, yeah, because, like, for example, I joined the game later with my friend, and he wanted to have this enchant, and he, like, it actually required some time to find someone who has it, actually, because, again, people, of course, quit, and then you need to find someone who has it, and stuff like that, and yeah, it was a bit more painful. I don't think this will be really true in this version of the game. Also, people didn't really know how good this enchant was, even in TBC. So yeah, this is not something that's going to happen here. For our legs, we are going to use 40 stamina, 12 agility, never cleft leg armor. This also makes sense to use, to be honest, on Time Warden, since it's a really, really good pair of legs. We also can go a bit cheaper, cleft-height leg armor, or we can use the ZG one even. This one will give us some 10 defense, 10 stamina, 15 block value. So yeah, if you have it, why not use it on your legs? Boots, we are going to use 12 stamina. Pretty cheapish enchant. Yeah, no-brainer here. And then we would have the option to also enchant our rings if we are an enchanter. But we would just put striking on it. But yeah, in this set I'm not really, so I wouldn't really include it here. But you could do that as well if you are an enchanter. Good. So that's it for the easy one. Man, that took so much time to talk, so much time actually. But yeah, I think this is the one that is really important, because you will have a lot of people that want to prepare for raids and such, and listing some alternatives and taking some time with it, I think makes a lot of sense. I would say more sense than talking about pre-raid builds on a DPS warrior, because it's not really that important. You can just go to Crusade. Maybe you might not get into it really easily if you are not in a guild or such. But yeah, as a protection warrior, of course, it's really important to have like good gear going into a raid, because you are the tank, you know. So yeah. Next one is the previous one, which I want to show you off, which is like more crazy. Let's say it like that. This one is like full PvP and also like full. You have like also some gold and stuff like that. So let's talk about it. In this one, I have a lot of arena pieces. For example, I have gladiator items here. The 4 set is not really important here, but the 2 set is pretty nice because it will give you 35 resilience. This one, if you compare the stats, there's 20 crit, 3% hit, and 16 expertise. And also, yeah, we have a bit less avoidance, but this one has way more threat. So yeah, that's, I think, pretty insane. We're going to use the Badges of Justice neck, gladiator shoulders. I think the most important gladiator pieces here are actually, for example, the head. This one is really nice. It has like huge amount of stats, and also the chest is really crazy. 3 sockets, 12 hit rating, which is of course obviously really insane. 23 resilience, 30 crit. Yeah, can't really go wrong with this one. What else do we have here? We have, let's see. Then we have bracers. Yeah, but this is not a gladiator piece. We have, of course, a shield, which is gladiator shield wall. Obviously, a really good one. 45 stamina, 18 stamina if you're going to use enchant, and then 29 resilience rating. However, yeah, this is not really going to be really easy to get since it's from Arena. Gladiator has a plate leg guard. This is more of an what if kind of set. Like, and I really want to show you off how insanely strong resilience is, but this is not really realistic. Don't get me wrong. What is realistic, however, is getting some of the items here. So what I would recommend getting is 100% Marshal's plate belt, for example, and also Marshal plate bracers. Both of these, you can see it right here. You can actually farm it right now. You can get 20 badges of Warsong Gold. However, that is going to be a bit painful because Warsong Gold is full with tryhard people who are just going to go all in, trying to get a lot of marks. Not really marks, but just using consumables, wall buffs, everything. And it will also take a very long time to queue. So maybe you want to wait until the pre-patch. Also, I think you can only hold a limited amount right now of these. But I think in the pre-patch you can hold up 100 right in the pre-patch. But in Classic you can only hold up 20. However, you can see you only need 20. So that would be already enough. Then you would be good. For the belt, you would need 40 Arati Basin. And this is also really good, like this belt. And you can see it's not really that expensive. So I would highly recommend in the pre-patch that you farm honor. You don't really have to, there's like not really a lot to do anyway, but you can just farm a lot of honor. I think you can have 75k, and if you go into TBC, if you hit level 70, and you also have, of course, a Mark of Honors, you can just buy some of the gear here, which is really good. Of course, the boots are also nice, but they require Eye of Storm. I would rather actually recommend, of course, like the bracers, you can actually kind of pre-farm them already. I'm even using the Gladiator War Edge one, which is a throwing weapon. But yeah. All of this, of course, requires a lot of arena ranking. So, but yeah, the arena gear is really strong as a tank, since it has a lot of resilience, and resilience is really good as a tank. But yeah, if you want to have like more of a sensible set, it makes sense to grab like Marshal plate bracers, Marshal plate belt, and also like, of course, Gladiator plate, not gladiator plate, but yeah, these two won, obviously. Maybe the helmet if you're going to grind a lot. Don't forget, this will be easier to get than it was in TBC Classic, since you don't need arena rating for the gladiator gear unless it's like weapons or shoulders. I think shields also probably require arena rating. I'm not sure. I didn't went to the PTR and checked. So yeah. So that's that. Now I want to talk about actually the phase 1 best in slot gear. So we have that. And this one, first of all, I think the most important one is look how you look, man. Damn, man. Imagine if you are like protection where I look like this. Crazy. Yeah, everyone's going to invite you, man. This looks so sick. But this set is actually really strong. We have 6% hit. This means if you would get improved Fairy Fire Druid in our group, we are hit capped. Wow, isn't that nice? Of course, we have some expertise here. We are crit immune, and you have 62% avoidance. So yeah, this set is really good. So yeah, of course it's phase 1 bis. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is important to get good gear in the first phase of the game, because I think they will get us tier 5 pre-nerf. And obviously, if you are a tank, you need to be prepared for that. You need to get, tanky. You need to get you need to get to farming, maybe some resistance gear for Hydros, stuff like that. So yeah, let's first of all talk about the gear here. I think I don't want to waste too much time here. We have Warbringer Great Helm. This is a tier 4 tanking helmet. So again, I talked about it in my Fury Warrior video. You can obviously grab tokens. The token we need drops from Prince Melchizar. We need this one, Helm of the Fallen Defender. And we can turn that one in and can get, we can actually pick, we can either pick, I think we can pick the Gladiator helmet, but we need also some additional, we would need some additional stuff for that as well. Not only like we can just grab it outright, we can of course also get the PvE like the DPS helmet, or we can get this one, the tanking one. So, and we want to grab the tanking one because it has like a lot of valuable stats. 53 stamina, 15 strength, 17 agility, 2 sockets including 1 meta socket obviously, 24 defense, 19 block and 39 block value. The set is also pretty nice if you use 2 items. You have a chance each time when you parry to gain blade turning, absorbing 200 damage for 15 seconds. Not a lot, but it procs pretty often. So yeah, it's just a nice bonus thing to have. Foresight is not something we will go for here. There are like better items. But yeah, for some other alternatives, we can obviously think about the Eternium Great Helm. This one has 3 sockets, 31 strength, 48 stamina. Yeah, 34 defense is pretty crazy. This one drops from Karazhan from the Opera event. The bad thing about that one, it doesn't have a meta socket. However, don't forget it's not that important as, for example, like Fury Warriors, since we can just, yeah, this one has 3 sockets. We can again put more stamina gems into this one. You also have this helmet, which drops from a Vault Boss, but I pretty much excluded Vault Boss loot here, since, yeah, it is just way too unlikely to get. But this one has 3 sockets, 30 defense, 37 dodge, which is like, yeah, you get a lot of avoidance with that one. The blacksmithing one you can also get, but nah. And you have one with Badges of Justice, but to be honest, just get the tier 4 helmet. It's one of the best ones. And before that, just use maybe like the previous one, which I talked about, one of them, and then you can get the tier 4 one. This neck you can get with Badges of Justice. Is showing up here again. This is something I highly recommend getting. 25 Badges of Justice, really insanely good. We have the Barb Choker of Discipline. This one is something you can also get in Karazhan. 39 stamina, 29 dodge rating, 16 defense rating. We get this from Maiden of Virtue. We actually have, I think, 2 items from that boss we could use. So this is another item you can get. But this one has like a bit more threat. This one has a bit more avoidance and a bit more stamina. So you kind of need to think what can you use here. Obviously, you can also use something which would give you hit. Like there's like a 25 badge item which you can use, which gives you hit. The Fury Warrior Guide uses this one. So obviously, if you want to get more threat, this could be an option. Yeah. Then we have Warbringer shoulder plates. These are the ones you can get from Hiking Molgar, like the token. But these are not the tanking ones. You actually are going to use the DPS ones. 32 strength, 22 agility, 33 stamina, 2 sockets, and 13 hit rating. The reason why we are using the DPS ones is because they are itemized really, really well. And they have also some hit rating. So yeah, that's really useful for us. The tanking ones, you can see it. Actually, the stamina amount is not, there's a difference, not really that high. They have some additional defense and some additional dodge, which is nice. But yeah, no hit. And the stat difference is not really that big. You're also going to lose out on a lot of strength and agility if you are going to use the pure tanking one. So, but if you are going to focus more on mitigation, you can obviously pick the tanking ones. Don't forget, you can actually exchange the token multiple times. So you can actually get both sets. So you don't need to focus on one. For the cloak, we are going to use the Drape of the Dark Reavers. You would maybe think, oh, this is a DPS cloak. This one has 24 agility, 21 stamina, 17 hit, and 34 attack power. Drops from Shade of Rowan. This one, however, has like nice amount of general stats. It's overall a really good one. 24 agility means a lot of like mitigation, and yeah, that's always a really nice thing. 21 stamina, obviously stamina is insane. 17 hit rating is pretty much 1% hit, like even a bit more. And then you have 34 attack power. Yeah, there's like not really a lot of stuff you can do like which is wrong here. So yeah, a really nice cloak. Then we have Warbringer chest guard. This one is a second tier 4 item you would use here. This one is again the tanking one. This one has like a really, really nice amount of stats. 16 strength, 17 agility, 48 stamina. Yeah, 3 sockets, 22 defense rating, 23 block rating, and some block value. And this would activate our second set pretty much. For some alternatives for these items, for the shoulders, there's one you can get from Neverspite, which is of course like purely mitigation focused. You can also of course use the gladiator ones, but yeah, I would try to get the tier 4 ones. There are not really a lot of options for the raid phase 1 Western slot gear. There are like not a lot of alternatives you can use for some slots. Same for the cloak. You have, what I mean is you have some items which are kind of mixed. Like they are kind of mixed. You have some items which are pure mitigation focused, and you have some items which are, let's say, purely defensive focused. So, oh no, wait, purely offensive focused. And I talk too much, so yeah. For example, you can use the Fast Rider Defender's Cloak from Badges of Justice. You can get a Gilded Thorium Cloak from Traverse and Oof. This is, of course, pure tanking item. But, yeah. This one's just really useful. So, having so much different stats here is just really nice on a tank. So I would rather actually use Drape of the Dark Reavers. For the chest, I mean, you could use Bulwark of Kings. There's also this chest from Nightbane, Pawns of Breastplate. This is pretty crazy because it has a ton of stamina. But yeah, 26 defense, 24 block rating, 39 block value, 3 sockets. But still, it is almost the same amount of stamina as this one. So yeah, like Warbringer is pretty much the best one you can use here, easily. So these are kind of locked, these slots. Then we have Martial Plate Bracers. This one is just something that is overall a really good one. You have some other options. If you are thinking about threat, you can use Blade Spare Warbands, but this will be highly contested by other DPS. There's also this one which you can get from Attunement. Embraces of Courage, 15 defense, some block value, and 1 socket. But yeah, Martial Plates are in general just a really useful piece because it will also give you some threat. Don't forget, threat is something which is obviously also pretty important. One difference here, I talked about it, I'm actually using one resilience gem to be crit immune in this set, which is the steady one here, and I'm using it in this one. You can see it here, steady Telecite. But yeah, that's just something I use here. In general, thing is, what I mean by that is also as well, you can also use this for PvP, obviously, since this one has like the gem here, and yeah. So let's go over hands first. So we have Iron Gauntlets of the Maiden. This is a purely defensive focused item. This drops from Maiden of Virtue. These one have 39 stamina, 2 sockets, 16 defense rating, 17 block rating, and some block value. And yeah, they are a pretty nice item to use here, obviously. One thing I need to mention here, we have a lot of hand options here. This is actually one slot where you have actually some different variety, different things you kind of want to use here. So let's kind of think about it. Obviously we have like a World Boss item, but that's ignored for now. If you're thinking about how good this one is, it is pretty decent because of the 2 sockets, but yeah, it's not that crazy, to be honest. You have Gauntlets of Martial Perfection. This one is highly contested, however, by other DPS, and I wouldn't recommend going for that one. We have the tier 1s from Curator, which we can get. Wallbringer Handguards, lots of strength, agility, stamina, parry rating, and defense. Pretty nice, but no sockets. So I would rather actually use Iron Gauntlets. And you don't really need the 4 set anyway. We could actually go for the 4 set, to be honest. I could change some items around. Maybe I will show that at the end, where you would actually have access to the 4 set. One item which you can get is, which drops from Trash. If I can actually find it here. Where are they? Which is one item which would give you some expertise. That would be really nice to use if you are thinking about more threat. But in general, yeah, you need to kind of think about it if you really want to do that, since that will be pretty contested. It's in like it's a lever item, and yeah, I'm not really sure if you want to do that. The thing is about that is a bit controversial, since some people are going to maybe fight you on that. Should you use it? Should you not? Oh, it's actually this one. Finally, I found it. But yeah, these are the Grips of Deafness. These will give you 29 agility, 34 stamina, 15 expertise, 60 attack power. This is a pretty contested piece. However, don't forget, expertise is really nice on tanks. It increases like a lot of stuff for them. It's pretty much the best thing they can get like threat-wise. So this could be like an option to also use 100%. Yeah, maybe you get multiple ones in your Karazhan, like of your Trash. It kind of depends. Do you need the threat? Do you not? It pretty much revolves around that. Next one, you have Marshal's Blade Belt. Oh yeah, another thing is I want to mention about threat. Don't forget, like if you are in a group and let's say you are in a guild and you are struggling with threat, and you are pretty much doing everything correctly, but your gear's not really that good. Pretty much don't forget, like you getting more threat also means you get more DPS for the whole raid, because everyone can actually do more DPS. They don't need to hold back. So that's something you can obviously make an argument for. Marshal's Blade Belt is yeah, a really nicely well optimized item. You can get this for honor points, you need already basin marks, and would be something I would recommend getting, even farming in the pre-patch, because anyways you don't really have a lot to do in the pre-patch anyway. But we have some alternatives. If you think about like threat, you can think about the Girdle of Endless Pit. This will be highly contested again, however, by every DPS. And we have Crimson Girdle of the Indomitable. This one is on item you can get from Moros. 2 sockets, strength, stamina, 24 defense, 20 block rating. So, yeah. Pretty nice item, but this is of course purely mitigation focused on this time. Has some strength, but obviously Martial Plate Belt will give you more of a mixed solution here. For the legs, I'm going to use Rin Dynasty Greaves. These ones have 3 sockets, 48 stamina, some strength, defense, and dodge. These are purely mitigation focused. So again, this set actually uses some sort of a mixed set. Not everything here is actually just either threat or just defensive. And yeah, these ones are really nice. If you think about some alternatives, we have the Warbringer leg guards. These are like the tier items we can use here from Gruul's Lair. You can get the token from Gruul's Lair from Gruul, and you could use that. Time Warden leggings again appear here, but yeah, you can kind of pick. You can also, of course, use Warbringer leg guards here, and then for the hands you can use the Warbringer ones, and then you have also the 4 set, which will give you some threat, obviously, which is nice. It might be fun to try out as well. Boots are the Battle Scar boots. These ones drop from Echo from a Div. I think this is actually from the chest, if I remember right. Yeah, the chest has like the chest event, and then after that one there's like a chest you can open for, of course, the loot, and that one has like a lot. Actually has some really nice tanking pieces. So we have these boots here, 2 sockets, 18 strength, 28 stamina, 23 defense, 21 parry. So yeah, some nice amount of avoidance here. You also have the Iron Strides of Urgency if you think about more like a threat piece. However, these ones are also again contested by other DPS. We have a Zone Drop, which is the Boots of Illusion, 34 stamina, 23 defense, 38 dodge. But yeah, might be, I would say it's of course more rare to get. We have, yeah, the rest is like more from like heroic stuff like that. We also have these ones, Edgewalker long boots, 2 sockets, 13 hit, 34 attack power, but yeah, I wouldn't really use these, like, honestly. And we have obviously the martial ones, which you can use from the PvP event. However, you need 40 Eye of Storm marks and some honor, but these are obviously more, again, more of a mixed thing. You get some resilience here, you get a nice amount of crit here. Shapeshifter Signet didn't change here, so can keep using it. Definitely something I wouldn't like replace here. And then we have for the other ring, we have Shermanar Great Ring. This one is a purely defensive focus ring. For rings we can actually do a lot of stuff, which I want to explain here. This one will give you 36 stamina, 23 defense, pretty nice ring. What is some other stuff we can use? So we have one thing you can get from Megferodon, pretty much guaranteed. It is guaranteed if you get the head, like Megferodon, he drops the head. We can look at it. Fall of Megferodon. See, like, and then you have this head here. Won't give you a wall buff. So, if you thought about that, no, it won't. And we have some items you can grab here, actually rings. And this would be like one of them, Adal Signet of Defense. I'm honestly not sure. I think for casters, this is actually the best thing for casters to get. Like, even the melee ring is not really that good. So, yeah. This one, however, 34 stamina, 20 defense. Pretty nice. We have the wall drop one. And also we have like one Badges of Justice item, 31 stamina, 294 armor, 22 defense rating. I wouldn't really recommend getting that one, to be honest. Rather save your badges for something else. What you can do is, if you do Karazhan, obviously you get some. Obviously you can get a ring as well, with the reputation that is pretty much bound to Karazhan, just a Violet Signet. You can choose, similar to Brute of Nostormo, which ring you want to get. You can only have one, and there are like different choices. We would actually decide besides 2, like we would actually differentiate between, for 2 choices. We have a defense ring, which is this one, 16 defense, 33 stamina. We can upgrade that one depending on our reputation level. So if you are exalted, we can actually, I think this one is the exalted one. This will give us 37 stamina and 19 defense. We can look at this. Yeah, you need to be exalted with the violet eye. And then you can get this one. I'm not sure if it actually shows the other rings here. Yeah, but you can see it right here. So we have different ones. We have this one. And depending on which reputation we are, I think the first one does it. Yeah, we have this one. Yeah, I think we need to be honored, and then we can grab this one, and then we can get revered, we can upgrade it, whatever, and you can get different ones. The other ring you would actually choose is the Violet Signet of Master Assassin. This one will give you a huge amount of hit rating and 56 attack power, as well as 28 stamina. So this is one of the better rings to get if you think about threat. Yeah, it's a huge amount of hit, obviously. For some other stuff is we have obviously the Ring of Dreadnought, which you can get from Nextremas right now. If you have that one, you can also keep using it if you want to. But yeah, this ring is pretty nice. It has like a huge amount of stamina, so that's always nice. And then we have some Mephirodon one, and there are like not a lot of other options. You kind of need to decide if you want to think about, okay, do I want to pick one ring which is more of an threat ring, or pick one ring which is more of like a defensive one. So yeah, that's kind of the choice you can make. Trinkets are interesting. So for trinkets we have even more choices here. So obviously Goblin Rocket Launcher is always going to be a really nice thing to use. However, I also decided to use here Romulus Poison Vial. This is one trinket you can get from the Opera event. This one will give you 35 hit rating and also has like a nice equip proc, which will make it so your melee and range attacks have a chance to inject poison into your target, dealing some damage. However, this is a bit more overkill. There are probably like other classes which will need this more, so not something you should maybe really use here. You can instead, if you want to have the threat, you can instead use actually Icon of the Unyielding Courage. So you have 5 less hit, but the on-use effect will actually give you also a nice amount of threat as well. So yeah, this could be something. If you care about having something which is more defensive focused, mitigation focused, you can think about Moro's Lucky Pocket Watch. This was one item which is actually pretty insane. It will give you a huge amount of avoidance, 38 dodge rating, and the on-use effect will give you 300 dodge rating. But don't forget, we don't need avoidance as much as some other tanks, as like Fairy Druids or Protection Paladins, since we have access to shield block. Also, Silence is still pretty nice to use here, if you think about more mitigation. And then we have Dragfang Talisman, and yeah, all of the other trinkets I mentioned previously as well in the pre-raid Biz guide we could use here as well. So yeah, we have lots of options depending on what we really need. Then we can kind of swap. Okay, do I need like more threat? I would use a threat trinket. Do I need more mitigation? Then I would need to use a mitigation trinket. Obviously, you can also use 2 Goblin Rocket Launchers and you're really tanky. This set, you have 14k HP. If you use 2 of them, you have yeah, almost 15k here, which is pretty nice. But yeah, you lose out on a lot of hit. You can see it. Like most of our hit comes from this trinket, but you could also obviously use the Icon of Unyielding Courage. But again, this is more of a phase 1 tanking set. Where's Romulu, man? Ah, here. And also the trinket is kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. Looks pretty cool as well. For the throwing weapon, or like the ranged weapon, I'm using this one, Shuriken of Negation. This one goes from Gruul, 19 stamina, 42 attack power. There are better options, I think, for every class, I would say, than this one. So this is kind of free to get. But yeah, still you could also just use Mark V's Throwing Star. There's like not really a big difference between like throwing weapons in general. Now let's talk about the weapon and the shield. So first of all, we have King's Defender. This is basically the best weapon. Why is that the best one? You can just look at it. So 1.6 speed, 28 stamina, 13 defense, and really importantly, 17 hit rating. Again, like I said, defense and hit is pretty rare, especially on items as good as this one. So this is perfectly itemized. There's not really something that is really better than this one. So yeah. This is also free for protection warriors. Why is that the case? Protection paladins really want to use a spell power weapon because the way they scale with a lot of spell power, and the weapon is where they can get the most amount of spell power from. So yeah, they're kind of locked into that. Pharaoh druids can't use can't use this one. So what is left? Only protection warriors. So yeah, this is free for you. Should definitely go to the protection warrior always, and also it looks so sick. I had this weapon actually because no one really wanted it, and yeah, I love how it looks. It looks so cool. And it looks really sick with mongoose. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Come on, someone needs to have mongoose on it. Okay, agility agent. These slackers from 2007, man. Oh yeah, let's go 2008, you know? Like, go to the norms, they know what to do. Look at this. Man, it looks sick with mongoose. Holy shit. Good. What else do we have? So yeah, what are some alternatives here? We have, of course, Blaze Guard, which is sword I mentioned previously. This one you can get from swordsmithing. 17 hit rating, some agility, some stamina. Pretty nice. We have the Sun Eater, I mentioned that one. Fire Guard is the one you would first craft, and then you can upgrade that one into the into Blaze Guard. But other than that, there are like not really a lot of options here. Unless you want to maybe use a slow one-hander, which I wouldn't recommend. But yeah, then you would rather look at, for example, some gear from maybe Heroics or some other places, which I mentioned in the previous one where I talked about some alternatives. But yeah, you really want to get King's Defender. It's pretty much the best one you can grab here. It's really good. For the shield, we have some options, however. First of all, I need to enable the filter here again. We have, of course, Aldori Legacy Defender. This is the best shield you can get. Goes from Gruul. 1 blue socket, 39 stamina, 19 defense, 15 hit rating. No brainer. You can easily use this. It's really good. Yeah, it's the best one you can get this from Gruul. I remember I did a lot of I did some Gruul ones. I think I hosted like 3 or 4, and yeah, I was also trying to get this one for my friend who helped me pretty much hosting the Gruuls so I can get my DST. He tanked it pretty much on his Protection Paladin, but yeah, I never dropped sadly. Another choice we have from Nightbane is Shield of Impenetrable Darkness. This shield is also one of the shields which is one of the best looking shields in the game, easily one of my favorites. Man, look at this, looks so clean, it's crazy. But yeah, this one doesn't have a socket, has 33 stamina, 22 defense, and some block value. It is worse than Aldori. One thing that is pretty crazy about Aldori is as well, it has hit rating on it as well. So yeah, you get the socket, you get hit rating, you get everything on this one. So yeah, you really want to get Aldoris. But this is of course also contested by Protection Paladins. So yeah, you need to fight them over to get the shield. Some other shields we can think about is of course the Gladiator one, which I talked about in my PvP set. And we have one Badges of Justice one, and we have the Crest of Shatar. All of these are like in a similar space. But yeah, the best one is easily Aldori Legacy Defender. One thing that is pretty easy, many items, there's like really one best choice you can make. that makes gearing, of course, way easier. So yeah. Other than that, we don't really have anything here. We could also think about using the Face of Death. I didn't mention that one. You can get that one in next Rammers, obviously, but yeah. This one is kind of nice. If you think about some shadow resistance, I think there's like one dungeon where you might need it, and also in Black Temple, that could be useful. But I think this is actually shadow resistance was more for actually more for DPS. I'm not too sure, and I think we cheesed it at the end anyway. Yeah, this is not something you will use here. If you are struggling with a shield, you can 100% pick this one. So yeah, this one is also not that expensive. Crest of Shatar, farming that one is pretty annoying. So yeah, but this shield is really nice because it has 2 blue sockets. So also nice. If you get this one, maybe use it, Shield of Impenetrable Darkness, because it looks cool, you know. I would say it looks better than Aldori's, to be honest. Yeah, it looks better. This is also a bit bugged. It doesn't look like this, actually. It looks more like the item card. I think in the middle, yeah, it looks like this. Like it's missing some crystals. This one looks really cool. Oh, look at this guy, man. Yeah, he's like this, you know? It's crazy. 2007. Crazy. But yeah, this would be like your set. You can think about. We can also now look at this again. We have 14.4k HP. We have 16 expertise. So yeah, we are lacking a bit here, but it is what it is. Can't really do a lot about it. We could... Oh yeah, I can make some changes as well in a bit. But let's talk about, we have 15% crit chance, 6% hit chance. This is nice again if you get an improved Verifier Druid. We can easily have, we are hit capped. Then we have like a, yeah, 60% damage reduction from armor, 463 defense, 47 resilience rating, 22 block chance, some dodge chance, 60% dodge chance, 15% parry chance. Block chance obviously is really nice for us, since yeah, we are of course using a shield. For paladins it's also really nice because they can actually get a lot of threat with that as well. Then we have like 62% total avoidance, almost 63%, and then we can look at the numbers here, and we are crit immune. So yeah, pretty nice. So now we can make some alterations here. We could use the full T4 set if you want to. We would use Warbringer leg guards and then also the hands here. And then we have the full set. With this one we are still crit immune. We have pretty much all of the benefits here as well, but we also have like the set bonus, which is pretty nice. So we still have that, and we have like the set which make it so our revenge pretty much causes our next damaging ability to do 10% more damage. One thing, however, with this one is you need like 4 set pieces, you need 4 tokens. This is probably pretty difficult to get though. But yeah, this will of course give you like more threat, since if you use the set, obviously you have like the 4 set bonus, which will again give you a bit more threat. But let me replace this again. And I use that one. So what other things we could also use is, instead of Iron Gauntlets of the Maiden, we could use the Deafness one, which is... Oh man, no, I need to find it again. Curse of Deafness. But now we might have some problems here. Yeah, now we can see we aren't crit immune yet. So we would need to change some stuff. You would maybe need to use another gem here, so I would just use it in this set, just picked here, and then I would just use another steady gem here. No, not this one. And then we can see, almost. Maybe we need to use 2 actually. But yeah, not the most optimal thing to do. But this could be something where you can actually kind of play around with the gear a bit. If you are going to use this one, you can see we have like a lot more expertise to play with. And yeah, could be a choice we can make here. Coupled with like instead of using King's Defender, we can use Latros. And then we are like at 23. And yeah, we would be, I'm pretty sure we would be dodge capped here, but of course, obviously not parry capped. So yeah, again, expertise is pretty rare to get, so this is not something I would really recommend doing. Good. So we have that. I think that was all. This video again is really long. Protection Warriors, like there's like a lot to talk about Protection Warriors. But this is mostly it for the gearing. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask them and so on in the comments. And yeah, if you want to support me, of course, you can like and subscribe as always. Also some additional links if you want to support me as well, like Ko-fi link and everything. Yeah, that's kind of it. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.